Hello, everyone. Today we're going to do a packet tracer of CCNA 3 version 7, 2.2.13. The packet tracer point-to-point single area OSPFv2 configuration. And here is addressing table R1, 2, 3, PC1, PC2, PC3, objectives, background. And you can read all this information yourselves. And we're going to go straight to configure router IDs. Start the OSPF routing process on all three routers. Use process ID 10 and use this command. And use the router ID command to set OSPF IDs of the three routers as follows. R1 is 1.1.1.1. R2 is 2.2.2.2. R3 is 3.3.3.3. And use this command. When we look at this router ID, we know that is explicit router ID. Let's start R1. Enable configure terminal. Use this command. Router OSPF 10. 10 is the process ID. Then we use this command to configure the router ID. Router ID 1.1.1.1 because this router we're configuring is R1, so is 1.1.1.1. Let's do R2. Enable config terminal router OSPF 10 router ID 2.2.2.2 for router ID for R2 router 2. Keep finish R3. Enable configure terminal router OSPF 10 router ID 3.3.3.3. All right, so we finished part 1. Let's keep going to part 2, configure networks for OSPF routing. Step 1. Before we configure the network for OSPF, let's do some calculation. Here's how many statements are required to configure OSPF to route all the networks attached to router R1. It's R1. There are 3 networks attached to R1. 1, 2, 3. These 3 networks. The first is a LAN network at a 10.1.1.0, 10.1.1.4. So we need how many statements? We need 3. We need totally 3 statements to configure OSPF. And the LAN attached to router R1 here has a /24 mask. What is the equivalent of this mask in dotted decimal representation? Let's look at here. /24 mask. 24, that means there are 24 bits or ones for network and 8 bits or zeros for host. So the dotted decimal representation of /24 is 255.255.255.0. Here, subtract the dotted decimal subnet mask. This is the dotted decimal subnet mask here. Subtract this subnet mask from 2.255.255.255.255. What is the result? Let's subtract this subnet mask from here. So the result is 0.0.0.255. This is the wildcard mask. Okay, let's keep going. What is the dotted decimal equivalent of the /30 subnet mask? Dotted decimal equivalent. It is here. /30 means there are 30 bits or ones for network and 2 bits or zeros for hosts. The 2 bits for hosts, 2 times 2 equals 4. And we use a magical number, 256 minus 4 equals 252. So this is the subnet mask of /30, 255.255.255.252. So we answered this question. What is the dotted decimal equivalent of the /30 subnet mask? Subtract the dotted decimal representation of the /30 mask from 255.255.255.255. What is the result? So look at here. Subtract /30 subnet mask from this. So we get the result 0.0.0.3, which is the wildcard mask. Okay, now let's start to configure. Configure the routing process on R1 with the network statements and the wildcard masks that are required to activate OSPF routing for all the attached networks. The network statement values should be the network or subnet addresses of the configured networks. Use this command. Okay, use a network with the wildcard mask to configure this network. Let's go to R1. Okay, we are here already. Network. Network, this one, this is a network. Network 192.168.1. 0.10.0 and the wildcard mask. Okay, here, wildcard mask. Network address, wildcard mask. This is a /s24. Okay, wildcard mask is from here. Wildcard mask is this one. 0.0.0.255. Okay, 0.0.0.255. And the area. Area 0. Okay, and the second one, network. Network. This one, network address 10.1.1.0. 10.1.1.0. This is the network address with the wildcard mask. Wildcard mask of the /30 is 0.0.0.3. Area 0. Area 0 is because this is a single area, so we use area 0. So here the /30, the wildcard is wildcard mask is 0.0.0.3. Okay, and the third one, network. Third one is 10.1.1.4. This is a network address. 4 wildcard mask 0.0.0.3. Area 0. Okay, we're done for R1. And verify the OSPF has been configured properly. Use show. Let's go to show run. Okay, R1 is here, OSPF 10, router ID, network, 3 networks. It's perfect. Let's keep going to step 2, configure networks for OSPF routing using interface IP addresses and a quad 0 mask. The first, we use the network address. The second one, R2, we use the interface IP address with the quad 0. On R2, configure OSPF using network commands with the IP address of the interfaces and quad 0 masks. Okay, let's keep going. Enable, configure terminal, router OSPF 10. Because we need to configure the network in the router subconfiguration mode. So network IP address, and quad 0. Okay, here R2 is 3 interfaces IP address. Good. So this one, network 192.186.20.1 is IP address. quad 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay, and area 0, single. Okay, and second one. Network 10.1.1.2. That is the IP address, quad 0. 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay, area 0. And the third one. Okay. Network 10.1.1.9. The address quad 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0. Okay, area 0. Okay, good, it's perfect. So we're done for R2. Here there's information come out. The adjacency established between R2 and R1, the neighbor R1. This is the R1's ID, router ID. So we're done with R2. So now we're going to do configure R3. On R3, configure the required interfaces with OSPF. Which interfaces on R3 should be configured with OSPF? R3. How many interfaces are here? 1, 2, 3. There are 3 interfaces. So let's see from here. R3, there are 3 interfaces. Okay. But this time we're going to configure the OSPF on the interfaces. So use this command. Okay, let's go. Let's go to interface. Enable configure terminal. Interface. Interface G 0, 0, 0. Okay, to see which command we need to use is interface. Use this one. This. Okay, so where IP OSPF. Process ID is 10. Area 0. Okay, and there are other 2 interfaces we need to configure. Okay, this one is inter S 0, 1, 0. Same thing. OSPF 10, area 0. Okay, third one, interface. Interface S. No, interface S 0, 1, 1. Okay, same thing, IP OSPF 10, area 0. Okay, we're down here on R3. So there are 2 information come out, which is shows the adjacency with R2. Here's the R2 router ID and R1. So adjacency established. So we finished to configure the OSPF on router. Now we need to configure the passive interface. OSPF will send its protocol traffic out of all interfaces that are participating in the OSPF process on links that are not configured to other networks, such as LANs. This unnecessary traffic consumes resources. The passive interface command will prevent the OSPF process from sending unnecessary routing protocol traffic out the LAN interfaces. So which interfaces on R1, R2, and R3 are LAN interfaces? Okay, let's look at here. So on R1, this is a LAN. The black line is a LAN interface. This interface is LAN interface. R2, the same. The black line connected to R2. This interface is LAN interface. R3, this is LAN, the black line. This interface is the LAN interface. All interfaces, LAN interface is 192. Okay, let's go to look at R1, 192, 168 is G. So this interface is supposed to be G000. R2 the same way. G000, R3 is the G000. Okay, here, so which interfaces? It's all interfaces on these three routers are G000. So configure the OSPF process on each of the three routers with the passive interface command. Use this command. Okay, so let's go to R1. Okay, we can go to passive interface. We configure, remember we configure passive interface in this mode, in the router subconfiguration mode. So G00. Okay, it's done. It's a passive interface. R2, do the same thing. Still router subconfiguration. Passive interface G000. Okay, last one. R3. R3 here's in the interface mode. No, we have to go to router. So exit first, then router OSPF10. So go to, now we're in the router mode and passive interface G000. Okay, we're done. Okay, look at here, completion 100%. That means we have configured all the necessary configuration. So now we need to use a show command to verify the network. Verify network at passive interface configuration. Okay, of OSPF process. Okay, let's verify on R1. Let's go to okay, show run. Okay, here's OSPF configuration. 10 process ID. This router ID passive interface. Good, perfect. We're done here. And 3 networks is here. 3 networks are here. Perfect, we are done. R2, do the same thing and show run. Here, OSPF 10 router ID and a passive interface, good, and 3 networks, perfect. And R3, should run. Okay, should run. Here's a router OSPF. Good. Router ID. Passive interface. Good. And about a network, because do you remember we configured the network on the interface, router interface on R3. We configure OSPF for routing on router interface. So that's why we have to look at the interface. The G000 here is IP OSPF10 area. So network is here. Good. And another one S010. Here is another one. Another network. Good. The second one, third one is here. Perfect. So we're done. Okay, thank you. Thank you for watching this video. See you next time.